Good evening. Today is May 28th, 2026, and we live in a dystopia. Now, we've lived in a dystopia for quite some time, though to say when it began, I don't know. The South, antebellum slavery, was certainly a dystopia, and we don't often think of the antebellum South as being a dystopia. In the Jim Crow laws and segregation, those there were dystopian, and we don't think of the 1950s and the 30s and 40s as being dystopia. But they were. And so, what about the present is dystopian? Well, we have an authoritarian leader who's taking us into war, and we're a country that can't build bridges, we can't repair our own infrastructure, and corporations are just fleecing us for every penny they can. And there's no life really left here in the United States. Not really. I've been looking for a new job the last 6 months. Currently, I work as a bank teller. And what I've seen the last year working for the bank has been a little frightening because people who had $10,000, $20,000 in savings, the majority of them, they've depleted their savings substantially this last year. And then the people who didn't have savings, they are overdrafting their account quite consistently, especially the last 3 months since the Iran war started, and relying on credit cards. So the economic apocalypse, that's already here. And I majored in environmental science at UMass Amherst. And I guess I'm only qualified to be a cashier. Having 2 years management experience for an arts and crafts store and being the cashier reward challenge winner for both stores that I worked in while I was a cashier there. I guess all of that counts for nothing. The degree, the employee of the month, that kind of thing. I guess it doesn't matter. Good grades in school. Doing everything that you should do. And looking back on it, I think that I knew that the should do's were all BS. Because when I was in college, I was thinking, okay, what if I can't find a job that will allow me to pay off the student loans? And the question now is, can I find a job that I can even live on? And that is preposterous and asinine. It's just so far beyond the pale. And the past 6 months, I've been on dozens of interviews, and I've sent out more resumes, and I've rewritten that resume more times than I can count. Nothing. I have vetted my references quite carefully, and I guess I'm just not worth employing. And then to add insult to injury, the student loan repayment plan that I was on got taken out by the Nazi administration. So Donald Trump, fuck you, right there. And I'm fortunate that I'm able to live at home with my parents. And what prompted me looking for the new job was the renters in this house. This is my grandparents' old house. They moved out, and my parents have been charging them a very reasonable rent the last decade or so. And so I was like, oh, I would like to rent that. And I'm paying right now for rent about what they did, but I can't move in here until I can actually find another job. And I sat down with mom and dad and showed them my budget, like, hey, this is what I can afford. And then that generational disconnect, like, I think that's finally been bridged. Because mom and dad have watched me work at the bank the last 2 years, and they've watched me save and struggle trying to move out. And they're like, oh, the math just doesn't work. You can make 33% more than minimum wage, and it doesn't matter. The actual living wage in the state of Massachusetts is about 24 to 26 bucks an hour. That's what is livable. Sure, you could probably get by on 21, 22, but you're not gonna you're not gonna do good. You're gonna have health problems. And I look back on the art store that I worked at when I was the manager there. I was the customer experience manager. I was promoted from cashier to that. And the replenishment manager passed away about a year or so ago. And she'd been having health issues right along. And I don't know what the whole story is there, but I look at if she maybe had more time off or there'd been more help, better paid help, like maybe she'd still be with us. And in looking back on coworkers who passed away, it's just like people shouldn't be dying in their 40s. Just that's that's like the mid. That's like the going out west, the American West. Um, that's that's something from the 19th century. I mean, with all the medical advances we have today, there's no reason for it. And as I said when I started, we live in a dystopia. And I look at myself, and I'm very fortunate that my parents and I had the conversation. We basically loaded the dice on this house in my favor. In sitting here, I realize that I've got a little bit of an ethical conundrum because I have empty bedrooms if I'm able to move in here, and it looks like I might lose my job anyway, next couple months or so. So if I lose the job, then I'm not going to have a car. I'm not going to be able to maintain this, and it's all for naught. And I've done everything I can. I think I've given it my best shot. I realize it doesn't reflect on me at all. It reflects on this system, and this system is fucked. I don't know how we get out of this. I don't know what. I have ideas. I've been doing a lot of writing. We need some kind of revolution. Because what we have now is worse than the boogeyman communism is portrayed as. Because in communism, everybody makes the same. Doesn't matter how hard you work, you'll just make X amount. What we have now is if you work hard and you're educated, you still make the same, and you get the student loans, and then you have the Nazi party kicking you in the teeth, suing the stop student loan forgiveness, and we all know the student loan forgiveness was not about actually helping students, but it was about helping the holders of the bonds on those student loans because they're all effectively in default because we can't pay them. And something's got to give. I don't know what. And I look at my life and I look at who I am, and and I just wonder, like, yeah, hit that subscribe button. My name's Austin, and talk to you guys later.